Good morning. How's everyone doing today? I'm going to start today off with a fact. 18.5% of American kids under the age of 18 are special needs kids. These so-called special needs kids, though, are more special than they are needy. And when given the chance, they can rise up and have a really big impact on life as we know it. Not everyone is perfect, and not every special needs kid is the same. Today, I'm here to inform you about the four major types of disabilities. I'm also going to inform you about the different ways to identify and care for these kids with these disabilities. And most importantly, I'm going to tell you about the ways that these kids with these disabilities can rise up and impact the world as we know it. Now, these disabled kids are labeled as special because they face adversities that quote unquote normal kids don't face. Now, as stated earlier, there are four major types of disabilities. The first of those four is the physical disability. Now, this is a disability such as multiple sclerosis and epilepsy. These kids face circumstances beyond measure. They face seizures, tremors, difficulty walking, speech impediments, and many other things. As we know, seizures can have a really big impact on the brain and the development of it. And some kids don't make it out of infancy due to these seizures. Other kids face delays in their adulthood because of these seizures. The second of the four disabilities is the developmental disability, such as Down syndrome. Now, these kids have delayed development, learning disabilities. They may be short in stature or they have speech delays. But don't let that stop you from hearing and communicating with these kids, because if you really take the time and listen, these kids do utter marvelous things. They are very intelligent beings, just like everyone else. The third of the four disabilities is the behavioral disability, such as ADD or attention deficit disorder. Now, physically, these kids don't show many signs of being disabled, but mentally, they aren't really able to focus on one thing for a long period of time. And that itself is a disability. A lot of people laugh or frown upon ADD, but it's a real thing. Medication, tutoring, counseling, all of that is needed for this disability. The last of the four is the sensory disability, and that pretty much speaks for itself. It's the hearing impaired or vision impaired kids who can't see or can't hear. Uh, Children, though, with these disabilities don't need your sympathy. They just need you to take the time and learn and teach them and treat them with respect like you would a normal child. Now, as stated earlier, these kids with these disabilities just need those ways to identify and care for, or they need you to identify and care for them, just as you would everyone else. There are many different ways to identify and care for these kids, such as basic treatment, including medication, or physical therapy, or behavioral therapy, and even tutoring. There are even facilities put in place, such as daycares known as the Kids Club. Now, this daycare is filled with an entire staff of certified nurses who are trained to tend and care for these kids. They're truly lifesavers and miraculous. I would ride past the Kids Club and not know what it was and think, hey, that may be a cool daycare. And I never really took the time to read the sign that it was a certified nursing facility until I actually needed them myself. Now, these daycares administer medication, which most daycares don't. They periodically check throughout the day. They train, they tutor, they counsel these kids. And all of these kind of these types of mentoring skills these kids need to actually stay on task with everyone else. Coming up out of Jefferson County Public Schools, I myself saw programs that allow these kids to acquire their education and walk across the stage and obtain their diplomas, just like the normal kids. And that's truly special. It's a way to give back and give to these kids as you do everyone else. Now, overcoming these obstacles is what makes these kids special to me. As stated earlier, when given the chance, these kids can rise up and have a really big impact on life as we know it. Take Helen Keller, for example. She was unable to see or hear, but was able to overcome and become a celebrated author, speaker, and activist for the blind and the deaf. Kids who compete in the Special Olympics are other kids who I admire and who are able to flourish and succeed in life as we know it. They are able to compete, set goals, obtain goals, set new world records, and just have a really big impact on life. They're able to go out and live their life and succeed and enjoy life just as a normal kid does. Just to graduate alone, just taking it simple, just to graduate, facing all the adversities that these kids face, it's something special and it's masterful and it's wonderful. It shows that against unfathomable odds, these kids are able to succeed. Now, I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I just wanted you to know that when facing the diversity of these four major types of disabilities, it's important that you find the right facilities, that you find the right programs to help with the development of these kids. Like all people, if put into place to succeed, these kids will truly be special. These so-called special needs kids are more special than they are needy. And they will, as long as if they are given the chance, they will have a really big impact on life as we know it. The select group of 18.5% of American kids, that's 1 out of every 5 kids under the age of 18, are special needs kids. They are important. They are my heroes. They acquire training and counseling, and they need things to help them succeed, but they can truly be special. Just give them the chance.